Saving life, baby. I'm sick of it. I'm out of them. I done ran out of to give, okay? I have ran out of to give, and I'm about to get out of my head and into my life. Baby, I'm preaching on this camera, but y'all don't hear me though. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel, Simply Kee Samone. If you are new here, I want to say welcome, and if you're returning, I want to say welcome back. Here on my channel, I talk all things mindset, growth, and lifestyle, and today we are diving into the subtle art of not giving a f***. Yes, you heard me, the subtle art of not giving a and how to get out of your head. If you feel like that this is you have been stuck in your head, you've been feeling really stagnant, not knowing how to take the next step, not knowing how to move forward, then grab you some water, kombucha, or wine. Today I'm sipping on some wine, girl. Yes, grab your notes, sit back, relax, and let's just hop into today's video. Okay, beautiful people, welcome back to one of my sit down mindset videos. Like I said, I have really been loving these, and if this is not your first time seeing me sitting in this blue chair, sitting in this corner, girl, what are you doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your post bell notifications so that you'll be notified every time I post a new video. And also do not forget to slide on over to Instagram and follow me there at _Kee Samone, because that is where I post all my stories. I'm back to posting regular back on Instagram. So if you want to see what I'm doing or different motivational mindset things that I'm posting throughout the week, then make sure to go ahead and follow me there. But we're just going to dive into today's video because, baby, I'm shook, okay? I'm shook. But let's just get into it. So lately, I've been really, diving into my personal development. Really, for the past couple of years, really been diving deep into my personal development. And one of the things that I said to myself was that I was not reading enough books. I really wasn't reading any books for a very long time. And I just felt like, why? You have so much time to scroll on social media and you have so much time to do this, that, and the third, but you can't sit down and read a book? Girl. But I'm going to share a book that I have been reading that I dived into, and I'm going to tell you, this book has some gems, okay? This book has some gems and I do not want you to miss them. So I'm going to cover this here in this video. I have been reading The Subtle Art of Not Giving a by Mark Manson, and baby, let me tell you, this book really has changed my perspective on so many things, and there are some gems that I have picked up just in the first few chapters, and I'm going to share them with you today. I'm not done reading this book, and I'm not sure if I want to make I guess my findings and the things that I learned into a series on my channel for this book, or if you guys want to just learn the books that I'm reading or want to know more of the stuff that I'm reading, make sure you drop that down in the comments below. But yes, we're going to go ahead and dive into some of the key takeaways that I've gotten so far from this book, and they are so very important, and I felt very called to share these messages with you. So if you really want to get out of your head, learn the subtle art of not giving a, and I have the tips for you, and we're just going to dive right in. I'm going to read the passage in which I found the message, and then I'm going to give more input afterwards. So let's just go ahead and dive into the first passage that I found. When it comes down to it, if you feel crappy, it's because your brain is telling you that there's a problem that's unaddressed or unresolved. In other words, negative emotions are a call to action. When you feel them, it's because you're supposed to do something. Positive emotions, on the other hand, are rewards for taking the proper action. When you feel them, life seems simple and there is nothing else to do but enjoy it. Well, my key takeaway from this passage was really that negative emotions are a call to action. So that really stuck out to me because I find that the times that we are stuck in our head and that we don't know how to move forward from something, we're normally not taking action. And it's because of our negative emotions. And when I read that negative emotions are a call to action, it resonated so much, because normally when we are sitting in those negative emotions and we are feeling those negative emotions or experiencing something negative, we typically sit in it. We typically like to sit in it, not like to, but we do sit in it and we don't move. We let the negative thing overtake us and we do not do anything about it. Negative emotions is not something that you should fear. It's not something that you should be afraid of, because let's face it, we're human. Emotions are just part of our daily lives. Emotions are something that are up and down and they come and go. So one thing that I want you to do is welcome in the negative emotion. It sounds crazy, I know, but my therapist covered this with me, and it is because you're creating so much friction within your mind when you are fighting off this negative emotion. So I want you to welcome the negative emotion in, and then I want you to sit with it, feel it, understand it, and then simply let it go. Now, I know. How difficult is it to welcome an emotion in and then let it go? Because typically, and just from personal experience, whenever, let's say I was in an argument with someone or had a disagreement with someone, I would feel that negative emotion, that anxiousness, that sadness, that hurtness, but I would hold on to it. Unknowingly, I'm holding on to it. I'm feeling it for a long period of time, and I'm just attaching myself to that. One of the first things that you really need to do is learn how to let those negative emotions go. We do not own those emotions. Those emotions do not define us. So why are we holding on so tightly to them, especially if it's something that we don't want to experience? You do not have to continue to sit in that negative emotion. You really want to just figure out where it's coming from, understand it, and then let it go. Typically, I give myself about 24 to 48 hours, depending on the situation. Now, this may be something that's very small that happened to us that was negative, or it could be something that's big. So depending on, what the situation is, give yourself a time limit. Set the time limit. You can sit in it, understand it, feel it, and then after that time frame comes, if you give yourself 72 hours to deal with something, at that 72-hour mark, you need to get up, dust yourself off, and move on. You need to take action. Don't just continue to sit with it. Once you've reached that point, get up, dust yourself off, dry those eyes, and take action. Ask yourself then, what can I do now to counteract that action? You have to create a plan for yourself, or create a step in which you can counteract that emotion. For example, if you just went through a breakup, or you're feeling sad, you're feeling low, give yourself that time to feel it. But then once you do reach that time span in which you're like, okay, that's enough. I've been down long enough. I'm about to get up and I'm about to take some action. You really want to create some type of step that's going to counteract that. What's something that normally makes you feel good? Is going and doing some self-care going to make you feel good? Is going on a walk, going to meet up with friends, going to hang out with family? What can you do to counteract that negative emotion to help you pull yourself out of it? What is something that you can physically do now? Not, let's say you're like, oh, well, a trip to Jamaica is going to make me feel better. Can you really honestly and realistically do that right now? No. So think of something smaller. Think of something that's going to give you a boost of that positive emotion. And then that is going to motivate you to keep going after those positive emotions. One positive thing is going to result in another positive thing and another positive thing. Once these things start to boost your mood, you are going to start feeling like yourself again. And this is going to give you the motivation that you need to move forward. Then I really want you to celebrate yourself for taking action. Celebrate yourself from picking yourself up out of that spot. And then once you start experiencing these positive emotions, express gratitude for it. Once we take the time to actually express gratitude, even if it's for the small things, even if you only took a small step, that will remind us that we're not as bad off as what we think. I think that sometimes when we go through life, even when we experience those little wins, we forget to express gratitude for it, and it will bring awareness to you of the good things that you do have. So you may have gotten out of this negative relationship, but now you are able to get back in the gym. You are able to spend more time with your family. You were able to perform better when you went to work. Those small things all contribute to making you a better you. And I don't know about you, but that's most definitely something to celebrate. So my first takeaway is definitely negative emotions are a call call to action, and baby, you just got to get up and move. My second passage from the book that I felt was super, super moving reads as: the solution lies in the acceptance and the active engagement of that negative experience, not the avoidance of it, not the salvation from it. My really key takeaway from this passage was the solution lies in the acceptance of the negative experience and the engagement with the negative experience. Now, I know, again, you're like, how does this work for me? This sounds really, really counterproductive. If there's something that I want to get away from, if there's an experience that I want to separate myself from, why would I engage in it? Why would I actively accept that if that's something that I don't want in my life? That's one thing that I definitely learned in therapy. And again, that's why this really stuck out to me from the book, was because my therapist was letting me know that if there is a negative experience that you want to get past, or if there's something that you don't want, or something that you no longer want to affect you in a way, you have to accept that that thing happened, and then you have to engage with the negative experience to move forward from it. One thing we really have to learn is to not avoid our problems because of the negative experience or the negative emotions that's attached to it. This is so, so very important, because when we avoid why, or if we avoid how a situation makes us feel, how are we ever going to heal from it? How are we ever going to digest it? How are we ever going to be able to move forward from it? And I know that this is something, especially in any type of traumatic experiences or bad relationships, or, you know, something even more serious. How do we move forward from it if we do not digest it, if we do not accept that it happened? When you're in denial of something, it makes it even more bigger in the brain. Your brain keeps score of everything that happens to you, whether it's a memory or a feeling, whether it's a scent that you smell and it makes you think of that feeling. Your brain will always keep track of that. So instead of avoiding it, which your brain, you may be avoiding it, but your brain is holding that memory hostage, okay? You have to digest it, heal it, learn from it, and that will then help you move forward. I really want you to put intention into solving the problem. Do you need therapy? Do you need to start a new regimen? Do you need to avoid certain people? Do you need to avoid certain locations? You have to put intention into solving a problem. Problems do not just poof, magically go away just because we say they do, or just because we say that we don't want to deal with it anymore. That problem is still going to be there. Like, come on, baby, this is real life. This is not the Netflix series that you've been binging every weekend, okay? This is real life. Problems do not just magically up and go away. One thing that I've really, really learned is that time does not heal all. Consistent hard work and intention does. For example, I've really, really been wanting to get back into the gym. Every time I look in the mirror and I start to see that, you know, something is bulging or something is moving, or there's something that I don't like, or something that I want to be firmer, if I attach myself to the negative emotion of my body starting to change shape, or starting to, you know, do things that I don't really like, then I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to avoid mirrors. I'm going to avoid even thinking about it. I'm going to feel ashamed to go in the gym. You know, I'm not even going to have the energy or the motivation to go to the gym because I've continued to be so down on myself. I've continued to beat myself up in my head. To combat that, I then have to put intention on making a plan, making a solid plan to go to the gym 3 times a week. I have to make a solid plan to make sure that I go for a walk every single day. I have to then put intention and hard work in making a plan to make sure I keep up my eating habits, make sure that if I make a schedule of meals for myself, that I abide by it. I have to put in the hard work and intention to turn that negative emotion around, or to turn that negative experience around into something that is then going to turn into positive. If I don't put that hard work in at first, which I'm not saying that you're automatically going to feel good and you're automatically going to feel motivated, because let's face it, these things take time. The harder I work at it, the more positive experience that I'm going to have in the long run. And then I can continue to move forward from there. But if I continue to just dwell on the fact that I have not been in the gym, if I continue to dwell on the fact that, you know, my love handles are starting to get a little bit fluffy, if I intend to change my body, I have to put that same amount of energy and intention into making sure that I take the action to do so. I really, really like the idea of us, you know, living in a perfect world and wanting something and it just changes for us. But unfortunately, that's not how the world works. And when you see people, or when you see other women that are, you know, living their soft life, or they're in their, you know, dream marriage, or they're living in their dream home, it took a lot of hard work and intention to get there. We only see the result normally of what other people are doing, or we only think of the result whenever we make goals for ourselves, whenever we make plans for ourselves. The only thing that we're normally thinking about is that end goal, is that positive experience that we really want. But let's face it, there is nothing that is going to come easy to you in the world without any hard work or intention. And the same thing is going to happen for any type of problems in your life, any type of experience in your life, anything that you want to change in your life. You are going to have to put your head down, really instill and grasp onto that little piece of discipline. Because I don't like to say that I want to hold on to motivation, because motivation is fleeting. Motivation is something that comes and it goes. I'm not going to wake up every day and want to go to the gym. If I have discipline and I hold on to that, then that's what's going to get me to the gym. And let's say next week, you know, once I'm feeling better, once I'm starting to see some change, then that's where the motivation is going to come from. That's what's going to keep me going. So I really, really want you to not avoid your problems and go take them on head first. If you attack your problems head first, then your problems eventually will no longer be attacking you. My third and final takeaway for this video is that you can't win if you don't play. Now, this one, short, sweet, to the point. When I read it, I was like, that's so simple, but it's so very true. You can't win if you don't play is so very strong. It's such a strong and powerful statement. And if you let it go over your head, you're not really going to get the depth of it. So I'm going to break it down a little bit more for you. If you have a goal or a dream, but you have every single reason in the world as to why you cannot start to pursue that dream or pursue that goal, you have got to change your mindset and your way of thinking about said goal. I love using myself for an example, just so that you know that, you know, I'm not preaching to you and coming from a place that I have not experienced myself. So I will use my YouTube journey for example. I have been watching YouTube since I was like in 7th or 8th grade. I would say 7th grade. I've been watching YouTube religiously, whether it be for education, whether it be for entertainment, anything of the sort, learning how to do something. I have been watching YouTube consistently since I was in 7th or 8th grade. Now, I think that I had a desire to become a YouTuber, to create a YouTube channel back when I was probably right after I graduated high school. That was like 12 going on 13 years ago. And if I would have never, or if I had continued to decide that, you know, I'm nervous, I don't know what my friends are going to think, you know, I don't really want my friends to see me doing this because it's embarrassing and not everybody is doing it, or I don't know what my family is going to think, are they going to think it's stupid? If I kept harping on those thoughts, on, you know, that stuff that just kept circling my mind, because let's face it, there's a lot of people on YouTube, but if I was to look at my immediate circle and the people that I knew, nobody was doing it. And when I started my channel back in 2019, I really had to just step out on faith. If I did not make my channel, and then if I did not start creating my videos, I would never know if I was going to be successful. I'd always be wondering, you know, what if? And even though I didn't really broadcast it, I didn't really tell anybody I was starting my channel, because let's face it, I was like, a little shy. The girl was a little shy, but I still did it. I still put myself out there. If I didn't put myself out there, then I wouldn't be able to know if it would be successful for me. If I didn't put myself out there, then I wouldn't know that I would be almost at 10,000 subscribers right now. One of the things that I really had to ask myself is, what is the worst that can happen? And that's one thing that I want to ask you. If you're worried about changing your career field because you went to college for something and you don't want your degree to go to waste, you know, for one, that was a positive experience within itself. You still had some great takeaways from the time you spent while you were in college. If your degree field or your work field is no longer serving you, what do you have to lose? What is the worst that could happen if you stepped out on faith and pivoted into another area of career? The worst that can happen is, yes, you could fail, right? You could most definitely fail. And that was the same thing that I had to ask myself. What was the worst that could happen if I started my channel? You know, I would get negative comments, or, you know, I would never get any subscribers, or I would fail. But you know what? The thing that comes out of that, or the good thing that comes out of failing at something, or, you know, doing bad at something, is you're able to learn from it. You're able to move forward like, okay, maybe that wasn't really for me. Because if I started my YouTube channel and I really didn't like filming videos or editing videos, or, you know, I really didn't like, you know, interacting with people like that, then I would know going forward, like, yeah, I tried it and it wasn't for me. Cool. If you want to switch and do something different, at least you will know that it's not for you, or it's not something that's going to work out for you. But it takes the weight off your mind of wondering why, wondering what if, you know, what if I could do it? What if I could succeed in this? What if I could, you know, make this into my full-time career? You will never know, and you won't be able to win if you don't even get in the game. You have to put yourself out there. You have to make the conscious decision that you are going to face your fear and go forward. Whenever you see a lot of successful people in life, whenever you see, you know, actresses, whenever you see singers and rappers and all of these things, a lot of people have been doing their craft for years and years and years until they saw some success from it, until they saw, you know, the fame, the money, and the career from it. And because of social media, we often forget that there is a lot of hard work that goes into being successful. One thing that really separates successful people from stagnant people is that they went against their fear. Most people, whenever they want to do something new or they want to try something new, they get scared. And I mean, that is a regular human emotion. Just because we feel fear and that we feel doubt and we doubt ourselves and we fall into that imposter syndrome, that is perfectly normal. But what the successful people has done is challenge that fear and move forward anyway. Fear is natural. It's going to come with doing anything new. Think about one thing that you really love, or one thing that you're really good at, and you look at from when you first started, you were nervous. Just like when I started my YouTube channel, of course I was nervous. I look back at my old videos and I'm like, oh girl, the editing, the filming, what were you doing? But I look at where I'm at now and I'm like, dang, you know, I really like my editing style. I'm constantly working to learn more and to better my craft, to better my videos, to up the quality. But I would have never learned those things if I did not start. You really have to take that leap of faith. That is going to be the difference in between staying stagnant, staying in your head, staying, you know, in this contemplation stage, that analysis paralysis that we often find ourselves in when we're fascinated with something and we want something, and transition you into that success phase. Success is like a constant train of motion. You know, you have to build up to it. You have to build some type of momentum. And there's no way, absolutely no way that you are going to build momentum in doing something if you don't even get started. It could be a small step, it could be a big step, it could be a medium step, and everything doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat. But just know, as you start and as you build that momentum, you are going to get better and better and better. You are going to feel that success sooner or later, and then you are going to look back and be so happy that you did. The second thing that I really want you to ask yourself is, what is your why? Why do I want to do this? Why did I want to start my YouTube channel? Is it because I just, you know, saw people on YouTube and I saw them doing it and I saw them making money from it, and I thought that it would be cool, and I thought that it would be fun, and I thought it would be something that, you know, could turn into something really big for me like they did? Or is it because I really wanted to help people? Or is it because I really wanted to build a community? Or is it because I really like being creative and this was a creative outlet for me? Is it because I wanted to, you know, create impact? Is it because that I wanted to help other women that are just like me, or be a friend to other women that are just like me, or an older sister, or whatever the case may be? You have to really find your why and let that be your motivation. Normally, when you see entrepreneurs or people that, you know, go to school for years and they work on, you know, not only their bachelor's, but their master's and their doctorate, they are normally working for something that is bigger than themselves. You have to really figure out your why and let that be your motivation. The days when your motivation is lagging, the days when I don't really feel like filming, I have to hold on to my why. If I don't film and if I don't edit, am I going to be able to create the impact that I want? Am I going to be able to create the community that I want? Am I going to be able to get out the message that I want, that I feel will benefit so many people? No. And that is what's going to tell me, like, you know what? No, even though I may not feel like getting in front of this camera today, but I know that I'm going to feel so much better once I get this message out. I know I'm going to feel so much better once I edit this vlog and share it with the people that really care about my content. You have got to hold on to your why for dear life. Those times when you don't know what's the next step, you know, what do I do next? If you have kids, turn and think about your kids. Turn to look at your kids and let that be the motivation that gets you out of your head and into the game, into the action, into the steps, into the plan, into the manifestations, into everything. You know what I'm saying? Really get into your life. This is what's going to help you really get out of your head, get out of that contemplation stage, get out of that self-doubt, and get yourself into the game. You cannot win if you do not play. If you do not play, you won't learn and you won't get better. You won't transcend and you won't elevate, and you will not move to that next step or that next chapter into your life. Baby, I'm preaching on this camera, but y'all don't hear me though. All right, beautiful people. So that wraps up the 3 things that I've taken so far from this book. I'm not sure if I want to continue as I continue to read the book and make this into a series. If you're interested in that and you want to hear more takeaways as I go through the book and as I move through the book, or any other books that I am reading, make sure to drop that down in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because I have not done a video like this, and I normally, you know, come up with these topics just from things that I've experienced from life, and I, you know, write down an outline of it and kind of get my thoughts out, and then I come on camera and share it. But I think that whenever I learn things from books, I have such a big like aha moment, and I really want to share it. So let me know if you would like for me to continue a series, you know, for this book or for any book that I read, and share my thoughts and insights with you all. I hope that you really enjoyed these takeaways and these messages from this book and the tips that I had behind it. I really enjoy just, you know, sharing things that can elevate you, you know, up that mindset. We really want to transform our mindset and think about life, and not only think about our lives, but get into our lives, get out of our head and really do the things that we want to do, conquer the things that we want to conquer, attack the things that we want to attack, and obtain the things that we want to obtain in life. If you have made it this far into the video, thank you so much. Thank you again for sharing space with me. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Be sure to leave me a comment down below, and also do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Turn on your post bell notifications, girl, so that you'll be notified every time I post another chit chat mindset video like this one. And then also do not forget to slide on over to Instagram and follow me there at _Kee Samone, and the same on TikTok. And yes, thank you again for sharing space with me, and I will just see you all in my next video. Bye.